Here we go with Livy, Book 1, Chapter 26. Priusquam inde, so inde then, prior to them digrederantering, before they left, we have a dative here. Metius was asking something. From the struck treaty, from the treaty which had been struck, what had been ordered to him in the dative there. So Metius wants to know what had been ordered according to the treaty. Tullius imperated, taking an ut here. Tullius ordered that habeat, he should have the juventum, this is the young man, he should hold the young man in arms, or they should stay armed. He's a future. They would be used in future, or opera. Their work would be used. Utor usus is going to take ablative. So their works would be used if bellum with the Venetian bunstens for it. If there was going to be a war, this is in the past. So keep the young men, hold it with their weapons ready so they could use them if there's going to be a war. With the venientes, or whatever you want to call them in English. Ita, so thus or so the exercitus forth declench in the army, inde then, plural, the army took themselves domos, home, to their homes, because it's plural home. Yeah, nice simple. Horatius, he batted, he went, it looks like in the first group or something. Gerenzing, pray say, pushing in front of himself, his tri-aminia spoiler, his threefold spoils. Pray as the adverb can mean because of, or it can be used for comparative, but it's also used for just in front of yourself. So there'd be that use there. Kui, looks like to him, sorrow Virgo, his sister, a young maiden, quae desponsa, who she was betrothed to, had been unai ex curatis, one of these curati. And she is obvia to him. She has met him, that takes the dative, before portam capinen for it. So before the gate of this place here, Porta Capina, she cognito super humerus fratris the paludamento. This is a military uniform in the ablative, so this was recognised, it's a neuter, this military cloak above the humerus fratris on the shoulders of a brother. The palamudo sponsor, it's genitive of the one she's desponsored to, so of her fiance. Quod ipsa confecerated, which she herself had confecerated, she'd made it. So she solvated her crines, she loosened her hair, and flebilita, the adverb weeping, she did something. Nomine sponsum mortuum appellat, and she called out in the name, nomine of her mortum sponsum. Mortum's irregular, it has a W in it in the supine. So she let down her hair, and she was crying and calling out the name of her dead sponsum, when she was going to marry. Move it, feroci juvenae animum. So this moved, or the animum, the mind of this double genitive, ferocious young man, or fierce, or whatever you want to call him, the comploratio moved. This is like the wailing and mourning. Moved the animum of the double genitive, young man. The comploratio sororis, the wailing of his sister, moved his mind. That in Victoria, so in his victory and such publico gaudio. So during such public rejoicing and in his own victory, his sister was wailing for the guy he just killed. So he was moveted. Okay, so it's female, comploratio, top 10,000 words. Lamenting, vocal lamentation, vocal mourning, loud, violent complaint, bemoaning, etc. according to the Oxford Latin Dictionary. It's the Daily Dictionary. So itaque, stricto gladio, with his sword drawn, and simul at the same times, increpiting, could be insulting or berating, verbus with words, he transpierced or the puella, the girl, his sister. So he stabbed her with a sword. So he's got some quotes here. Abai, go away, single imperative, hink, from here, with your immature amor, with your immature love, they weren't married yet, go away to your accusative, so go away to your spouse who's dead. He inquited, he said, inquit takes quotes, dixit and ait, usually just take accusative and infinitive. Obliter, looks like another imperative, be forgetful of your dead brothers and of the living, or the ones living two are dead. And obliter, you're forgetful of your patria, your home country, the homeland, the fatherland. I've split the sentences up here, but this is in the same quote. Sic iet quae cumque Romana lugabit hostem. And that's the end of the inquit. So thus, she should go away, quae cumque, whichever, Romana, that's a female, so it's a Roman woman, compared to a Romanus. So whatever Roman woman lugabits for an enemy. So whichever Roman woman mourns for an enemy, thus she should be dispatched or sent away. Where we? Atrox visum id facinus. So this facinus, this deed or crime, as it seemed atrocious, to the patribuses, the fathers, and there's the quaed, and the plebs. But his recent meritum was obstabating, was blocking facto this fact, the fact that he'd done a facinus, because he'd won the battle by slaying those three. That merited some consideration, but Tamen, nevertheless, he was raptus, he was grabbed, and ad regem minius, he was sent off for justice to the king to be judged. The Rex, the king, nay lest ipse himself, for tam tristis, such a grim or sad and ingrati, unpleasant or unfavourable, the judicae ad vulgus, he wanted these judgments to be given to the vulgus, the common people, and it's because he didn't want to be the auctor, the author of this supplication, this punishment, which would secundum the judicum, which would follow the judicum, with ablative. Here's advocode a concilia populi. He's called together a council of the people, and he inquits. He said, duam viros, que Horatio per duellum judicant. So he's these people are called duumvirs. These ones will be the ones who judge. Per duellum can mean an enemy, but it means treason here. Facio, I'm doing this, I'm making this, secundum legem, following the law. And here we add secundum de judicum, following the judgment. The lex horrendi, looks like a gerund, carminus erat. So the law of this horrendous carmine, this is like the wording, it's also used for poetry and other things. But the wording of this law was that the duumviri, these duumvirs, they would judicant, they would judge this treason case, and if provocaret from the duumvirs, so again he's calling for an appeal from them, and then we have an ablative here. If this is a contested appeal, provocation, and if they win, the duumvirs, his caput, which is his head, would be obnubitoed. Be covered up. And he will be suspenditoed, suspending reste with a rope in felicae arbori, from an unlucky tree. So obnubito just means it's like velo, to veil over. Provoco means to challenge. Verberato. He'll be beaten, vel either inside the Pomerium. I'm just thinking outside the walls of Rome there's a region called the Pomerium, or extra, or outside it. So it's an area of the Pomerium. And that's the end of that inquit. that quote. So it's only a short bit for today. So, haec lego, in this law, creatize plural and it's passive. So the duumviros created in this law that qui he, who they did not think, reor means to think, who they would absolve, it means make free from this. In this law, ne enoxium quidem posse. So it looks like inoxium means not guilty because noxium means guilty. So even who is innocent, when he's condemned, then alter ex is, then he would go from these, and he's another inquit, another section of words. Publi horatius, that's the vocative of the second declensions. I judge you a traitor, or I judge to you that you're a traitor, he said. I, that's an imperative, it means go. Lictor, he's calling on the lictor. An imperative to collega tai, his manos, his hands. Nearly done. The lictor accessorated. He went up to him and he was inicabating. He was tying the laquium, the noose. Then Horatius, about to be hung, with Tullius behind it. He was the author or the instrument here. With him interpreting clemency of the law, he said, provoco. He challenges it. So Horatius is the one inquitting. He challenged it. He was prompted by this guy. And so, with a provocation curtatum, with this challenge contested, it went ad populum to the people for a decision.